Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report, and coming up here on today's show, I asked 5 other Raiders content creators to participate in a mock draft. So what I did, got those 5 names, threw them in a hat, picked them on out, and then that's the draft order that you're going to see here on today's show. And the mock draft was done on PFN Mock Draft Simulator. Please do not send me your PFF mocks. So one of the things that I want to be able to always communicate is I want you guys to support Raiders content creators, because a lot of times people don't understand how much time, how much energy, how much effort, and how much time away from family it does take to be a content creator. So if you bleed silver and black, I want you to go ahead, subscribe to the Raiders Report, turn on those notifications, and then the other creators that you see, go ahead and support them, whether it's on social media or on YouTube. So the Raiders, they have 5 picks, y'all. Pick 86 in round 3, round 4, 126, round 5, 164, 165 again, and then 227. The Raiders have the second fewest amount of draft picks in this year's overall 2022 NFL draft, and that's because we traded for Devontae Adams. I think we're all okay with that. So the way that this is going to go is with that pick number 86, my guy Raider Honcho, he's going to take it on over. You guys are going to be a little bit surprised. When he made the pick, he literally goes, some people are going to hate on me for this. It's all good. It's your pick. At round 4, 126, shout out to Kenny King _Jr. The @ symbols that you're seeing is what they are on Twitter or on Instagram. Also on Twitter, at Raider Cody. He's going to be in round 5, pick 164. In round 5, 165, back-to-back picks. One of my good friends on Instagram, raiders.scout. And then to round it out, he wasn't happy that he was the last pick, but Graph, it's all love, man. Graphk 916. So these are the guys that are participating in today's show. And if you know other solid Raiders content creators, please do not be afraid to throw their names down in the comment section. So let's get into today's show, and I'm really excited to see how this whole thing goes. So in round 3, pick number 86, Raider Honcho selects Oklahoma linebacker Brian Asamoah. And if you're looking for a solid sideline-to-sideline linebacker, Asamoah definitely fits that. 6'1", 228 pounds, had 80 tackles last season for the Sooners, 1 sack, 2 forced fumbles, and Sam's in the background going like this because, yeah, horns down, right? So in terms of Brian Asamoah, what you're going to see here in every single player that we bring up is why that person took the player that he did, and then I'll tell you to go ahead and grade it. So here's what Honcho had to say on drafting him at 86. Asamoah was one of the most underrated players in the draft. At 6 feet, 225 pounds. He's built like a box safety who's considered undersized for a linebacker. Asamoah is one of the best tacklers in the class and possesses the athleticism to play sideline to sideline. He diagnoses plays and closes distance with quickness due to his 4.5 speed. Great at blitzing, but can also play in coverage. Asamoah is a perfect fit for a 4-3 weak side backer or a 3-4 inside backer. I should also mention that literally the way that these guys sent me their write-ups is what you're going to see on screen. So my analysis of Asamoah is I also see him as a 3-4 weak side linebacker, which is something that the Raiders end up needing. And I do see him as a legit sideline-to-sideline chase speed, which is another thing that this defense is going to need. And he goes hard 100% every snap. That's good, and it's bad because his skill set reminds me a lot of Jonathan Abram. He's going to get lost in coverage. Being a, I'll say, Big 12 linebacker isn't always the easiest thing to go ahead and do. So what I want you guys to do before I give you my grade, give me your grade. And with every single person, you're going to be grading. So it's very important when you go down in the comments to put Honcho, and then the grade that you're giving him. So grade it. Brian Asamoah at linebacker at pick 86, A, B, C, D, or F. I'm going to go and give Honcho a C grade. And remember, I am a little bit more of a tough grader. A, it's an amazing pick. B, it's good. C, it's average. D, it's bad. F, it's a fail. The reason why I'm going to go ahead and give him a C grade is because Kobe Bryant was on the board. I'm a bigger fan of Kobe. I see Asamoah being a late round 3, early round 4 style of linebacker. Do I think the upside's there? Yes. However, when I look at the tape, and again, being a Big 12 linebacker at times, people get picked apart too easily because the defense isn't all that great. But Asamoah does have the upside. He has the athleticism, and if he gets good coaching, which I'm hoping the Raiders got good coaching this year, then I think this would end up being a pretty good pick. Which means coming up now is going to be Kenny King Jr.'s pick at round 4, 126, and this is the one that I expect to really shock some people. At round 4, 126, Kenny King Jr. is going to go ahead and select Alabama running back Brian Robinson Jr. So back-to-back picks. We got 2 Bryans right off the board. Maybe I'll just call this the Bryan report. He's a big running back. And if you want to look at a dude who's like a linebacker getting the rock, that's what you're going to get here. 6'1", 225 pounds. Last season had 271 carries for the Crimson Tide, 1,343 yards, 14 touchdowns, and was just a stud in the game up against Cincinnati. He just was running the football like a madman. So this is what Kenny King had to say on drafting Robinson. Continuing with recent Raiders tradition, they select Brian Robinson from Alabama, creating a 3-headed monster in the Las Vegas Bama backfield. Robinson at 6'1", 225, bruising runner who fits the mold of the Josh Jacobs power back, averaged 8.5 yards per carry for the Crimson Tide in 2021. So go ahead, y'all, get down in the comment section right now and grade Kenny's pick. So to grade Kenny's pick, you got to type Kenny, and then give it the grade. Brian Robinson, the running back out of Alabama, at pick 126. What are you going to grade it? Sorry, Kenny. I understand the want for a running back, and I get the idea of having a 3-headed monster. I'm just going to give this a D grade. I see him being one-dimensional, and sure, you can have a 3-headed monster, but the only way I see the Raiders going ahead and taking a player like Brian Robinson Jr., to be honest, is if they're like, well, we're not going to keep Josh Jacobs around, or if there's concern around Kenyon Drake's health. He is a very physical runner, but he reminds me, and I don't know if you guys are going to recognize this name, of Tim Hightower. He's an upright runner who, when he runs the football, sure, he's going to be able to really lay the wood. And Hightower was a guy who averaged, 400, 500, 600 rushing yards per season. And then after 3 or 4 years in the league, he broke down. Why? Because if you're an upright runner and you just look for contact, you can't always have the longest career. So one-dimensional, don't see him really ever being able to catch the football. It's why I gave it a D grade. Now, guys, today's show is presented by Locals, and if anybody's looking for more exclusive content, if you want more live videos from me, then go ahead and join us. You can do it for free at raidersreport.locals.com. Yes, becoming a member, getting content is free. However, if you want to get even more exclusive content, like the 3 videos that you're about to see on screen, that's where you can become a supporter. It's $10 a month or $100 a year. Find out which Raiders player could have a breakout year. Who's the one free agent I want the Raiders to sign? And if you want to see something that I believe that this Raiders roster is going to do, which no other NFL team has done since 1980, become a supporter over on Locals. How do you do it? RaidersReport.locals.com. That link is going to be available for y'all down in the comments and in the description of today's video. What's the Raiders Report about? Getting you guys content, and that's what we're doing here. So let's now going up now to Raider Cody. You are officially on the clock, and we started out with a C grade, then we went to a D grade. I'm not going to lie, this mock's not starting the way that I was hoping it to. But Cody, he's going to save this one. And this is a steal, I thought, this late. Round 5, pick 164. They're going to go with Baylor safety J.T. Woods. And I am going to pick at Cody a little bit because I know this weekend was a holiday weekend with Easter and all that kind of good stuff. But just like I mentioned before, I had everybody send me what they wanted to do. You guys are going to laugh to see what Cody said to me. So at 6'2", 193 pounds, he had 57 tackles last year, 6 interceptions, and 2 pass breakups. So all I asked from every person who provided content was like, give me a paragraph. Well, Cody was like, all right, how about this? In my opinion, he will have a lot of speed in the open field. So then I replied, well, dude, is there any way I could get a few extra write-ups on it? And I thought this was funny. He said, oh, shit, sorry, man. Completely forgot. I'll knock it out when I get out of church in a little bit. Happy Easter to you, too. Oh, Cody, I don't know how long you've been in church for, but as far as I'm concerned, you've been there for over 24 hours now. You're more than welcome to come on out. He has risen. If you want to go ahead down in the comments section and give me a write-up on why you took J.T. Woods at 164, I am totally okay with it. But, guys, go ahead and grade Cody's pick. Type Cody, and then give it the grade down below. If you guys went to church yesterday, you can also let me know. I was supposed to go, but, Well, I went live instead. So here's my grade for Cody. I'm going to go ahead and give it an A grade. Not that I'm super sold on the Raiders needing another safety. I have JT Woods as being a late round 3, early round 4 prospect. And the fact that we were able to get him in round 5, I like that athletic ability. He does have experience playing in all the safety alignments at Baylor, but let me get one thing straight. He's not going to be someone who you want to have as a cover safety. Yes, he had 9 interceptions in his final 2 seasons, but when you go back and you look at the tape, he gets lost. And when I say he gets lost, he also reminds me a lot of Jonathan Abram, where 4.36 40 speed, but in the NFL, if you don't know your assignments or you don't know exactly where you're supposed to be, teams are going to burn you. And it's just not what I want to have to deal with going into next season. Coming up now is going to be Raider Scout pick. Shout out to him over on IG. He's always keeping you guys up to date, and one of my good friends on social media as well. So for Raider Scout, he had a back-to-back pick here, and this one, not too surprised that he went this route. Round 5, pick 165, Raider Scout selects Georgia offensive guard Jamaree Salyer, who has actually been a player that I've talked about before on the Raiders Report, and this is a dude, when I originally did my analysis on him, I had him as like a round 3, round 4 grade. I've done a little bit more research. He's probably sitting in a late round 4, early round 5 category for me, though there are other people that may disagree with that. 6'4", 325-pounder last season. Allowed 1 sack, 1 hit, and 2 hurries. Here's the reason why Scout ended up taking him at 165. The Raiders need offensive line help. That's no secret. And even though the best help possibly simply may have been a new offensive line coach, adding young blood is never a problem. Salyer is a mauler that is elite in pass protection and can be flexed out to offensive tackle and play both G-spots. Both G-spots. I thought there was only one. Interesting. Well, what about this? And it keeps on going. It says the Raiders don't need an instant starter, but some developmental depth, and that's Salyer. He fits the Raider mentality and is an excellent developmental piece for next year. I agree with the fact that he would be a good developmental piece, and he's nasty. He's a mean guy on the interior. So before I go ahead and give my grade, you guys know what to do at this point, right? Scout, go ahead and give him his grade down below. For me, I'm going to go ahead and give it a B-, and it's a good player. I see him, though, being very similar to John Simpson, and when I look at the Raiders' offensive line right now, Simpson to me is a backup left guard. However, if Salyer is able to come in and be a more developmental piece, have a solid guy who's played in the SEC, and before 2021, I thought he was getting better and better. Took a little bit of a step back this past season, but in round 5, it's a B- grade. It's above average. So you have Alex Leatherwood, you have Denzel Good, but if John Simpson and Salyer were your backup guards, I definitely think that a lot of people will be feeling pretty good about the Raiders' O-line, which means saving the best for last, right? Some people might think so. Shout out to Graphk because his pick is coming up here, and usually in the 7th round, I'm looking for a piece that I can try to mold into something, and that's exactly what he did here. Graphk Raider selects UConn offensive tackle Ryan Van Demark, and this was a player that I actually circled on my calendar to do some reviewing on because one of the viewers said, hey, you got to check out this guy. He's a big offensive tackle, and I like this idea because Carmen Brasillo, the Raiders offensive line coach, has actually done a pretty good job finding these players who are just big-bodied guys, 6'6", over 300 pounds. Shout out to Wayne, New Jersey. But he's been a starter at UConn since 2017. That's impressive to me, and he has a lot of playing experience, and he ended up, missing a year as well with an injury. But, you ever have that student, and I honestly, man, I was that student where teacher said, hey, write something up for me. Graphk was like, all right, I'm going to throw a whole bunch of ideas, and that's going to be your paragraph. So shout out to him. Explosive athlete, great pro day, 6'6", flexible, super agile swing tackle, under the radar because of school, could become a serviceable T at next level under Carmen Brasillo. I mean, that is the definition of getting to the point. So before I go ahead and give my grade on Demark here, A, B, C, D, or F, type graphic. So G, well, you guys, also I'm putting the names of these guys in the title. That way you can see it. So get your grade in, A, B, C, D, or F. I am going to go ahead and give this one an A grade because I like the upside here, and I like the idea of going out and trying to get a a player that I want to see what Carmen Brasillo is able to do. It's a good project from him. And I know a lot of people, I don't want to throw out this name, but Trent Brown. Trent Brown was a 7th-round pick. Big body. Got the right coaching, was able to put together, and then look good. On top of that, finding tape on UConn players, this may be surprising unless they play women's college basketball, is not easy. But he does have a big body. He does have an athletic, wide build. I like the footwork that I saw. But there was tape from the East-West Shrine Bowl. And I actually was really impressed by what I saw here. So from somebody in the 7th round, 227, you know what, man? Why not? Let's roll the dice a little bit. So let's one more time here, guys. Look at this Raiders mock draft. And if you guys want to go ahead and take a screenshot of this, post it on social media, I'm all good. Just make sure that you tag the content creators as well. So at round 3, pick 86, Brian Asamoah was taken by Raider Honcho. At round 4, 126, Brian Robinson. Kenny King Jr. Round 5, 164, JT Woods, done by Raider Cody. Round 5, 165, Jamaree Salyer by Raider Scout. And then rounding out this Raiders content creator mock, Ryan Van Demark, picked by Graphic Raider. So now's your opportunity to be honest. And I was honest throughout the entire show. Obviously, I'm trying to stay friends with some of these guys, so hopefully they don't hate on me too much. But I rate this Raiders mock draft, scale it from 0 to 100. I'm going to go ahead and give it a 73, and it was a slightly above average mock to me where it was okay at times. However, I was hoping that the picks early on were a little bit better. If you made it this far in the video and you want to see more videos like this, we can go ahead and do it. Hopefully, you also go ahead and give all those guys a follow on social media as well. So major shout out to Graph, major shout out to Honcho, though Honcho, you got to give me a follow on Twitter, man. Same with you, Kenny. Shout out to Cody, and then also shout out to Raider Scout. I appreciate you guys taking time out of your weekend, taking time out of your day to be a part of the Raiders Report.